Hello, my name is Karan Yellowfish. I'm the director of the tribe's halfway house. It's called New Pathways. Chairman had asked us to find out how our program originated, and I talked to a lot of members who were connected with the program, and I knew it was one of the older programs, but one of the elders today told me it was the first program. Miss, the vocational rehab director wrote the first grant. Kenneth Kusawun was the first director. He ran the program until 1980. Ms. Teresa Lopez was the director over Hope House, substance abuse, and New Pathways until 1990. There was like 3 or 4 different directors before me. I've been there since 2000. I'm a Comanche tribal member, and I've got a long presentation, but I'm going to paraphrase most because I know y'all are getting tired. Our main mission is to provide transitional residency to Native American men and women that are over 18 who are just coming from treatment. Our funding source is the Indian Health Service. We have 5-year grants. Right now, I'm on the final year. It's the option year 4. Last year's grant was for $183,638. All the monies were spent, and we did not go over. This year we have $191,783, and it's our current year. What do we spend it on? Salaries, fringe benefits, contractors, repair and maintenance, supplies, shelter and materials, utilities, postage, non-capitalized equipment, travel training, security monitoring, drug screening, vehicle expense. That's for GSA rental and maintenance, rent and recreation. We started getting CNG money since 2008. In 2016, we got $120,000. There was no overages. Money was spent. In this current fiscal year is $125,000. How are we spending that money? With contractors, the alumni reunion, travel training, service agreements, placement fees, culture activities, and indirect costs. My recovery team members, myself, and my counselor were paid through the Indian Health Service budget. I have 4 contractors, and they are the warm bodies when we aren't working. After 5 until 8 o'clock in the morning, holidays, weekends, and inclement weather days. In June 2013, KACA had a grant to abate 5 buildings on campus for asbestos, and we were one of them. And they removed our floor tiles, but the grant did not provide to put the tiles back. We could not place our clients in the building, so we have been having to place them at other halfway houses and pay for rent to stay in compliance with our IHS grant. In 2014, we spent $21,199. In 2015, we spent $21,311. And in 2016, we spent $24,368. So in lieu of those expensive costs, I haven't had a van driver. So we've been tasking that to my counselor, poor thing. The halfway house has been at the Indian school since 1990. That's 27 years. They've been in the old girls' dorm. We will be moving to the Comanche complex area very soon, hopefully. And we will be behind prevention and recovery. They will have their treatment center in front, and we will be in the back of them. Our purpose is to provide a 10-bed, which is 7 males.
Excuse me, there's a question here, and you just answered it. It says, shouldn't this program be included in, and it's not substance abuse anymore, it's prevention and recovery. So you guys will be housed in the same location. Is that right, TA?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay, there we go.
Yes.
There you go.
And for the longest time, we've had a halfway house, but we haven't had a treatment center, so they will be bringing a treatment center. So it'll be a full program. We service the Lawton service area, which is Comanche, Caddo, Cotton, Kiowa, and Tillman counties. And our Comanche tribal members are given first preference. Then comes the other 7 Southwest tribes: Kiowas, Apaches, Caddos, Delaware, Fort Sill Apaches, and Wichitas. But I have received tribes from everywhere, all over the United States. If there's a vacancy and we don't have someone from those preferences, I will place them so they don't die. We don't want anybody falling through the cracks. New Pathways is the only Native American halfway house in the Southwest Indian Health Service region encompassing 5 states. We are free services. What happens is the tribe pays for the expenditures and Indian Health Service reimburses them. We use the CNG monies for the contractors and the things that we can't buy off of the Indian Health Service grant, like t-shirts and things like that when we have the cultural activities. Yes. Good question. No. The cost for replacing the roof was leaking, for years, plus the floor tile, plus there's no heating and air there.
Are we talking about Fort Swindon School?
Yes, we are.
Hold on. I went over there and their chair started spinning around by itself.
1990. Yes. And it was going to be too astronomical, so they've been wanting to move us. So now we're finally getting the chance. Yes. We're tired of freezing in this winter. The Indian Health Service tasked me to make sure that these people are getting employed. A lot of them have broken too many promises. They don't have people that believe in them no more, and they have nowhere to turn to. So they've got to get money saved up so they'll have something when they leave. The requirements are they have to be 18 years or older. They have to provide their CDIB. They have to have completed at least a 28-day inpatient residential treatment. We like getting them straight from treatment so they don't have a chance to go home and relapse. And they must be willing and able to obtain employment. Program components, they've got a placement and adjusting period, then sobriety maintenance, relapse prevention, and extension if the waiting list permits. Most of our relapses occur the first 2 weeks, from day 45 to day 60 in the last 2 weeks. So we're aware of that and we try to watch them. Our service record, I was just showing you the completion rates when they were with us at the Indian school. They were at least above 50%. And when we got to where we had to place them, they were below 50%. So that's really good to show that we need to move. They were affected. The stats I have show New Pathways has serviced 737 individuals from 1990 to 2017. 97 individuals have returned once or twice. An individual may enter New Pathways a total of 3 times with 1 year in between each discharge date, and 18 have maxed out. 45 individuals are deceased. We track former clients for a period of 2 years and forward the statistics to the Indian Health Service. Our achievements. We created an alumni association, and believe it or not, they come each year. They come to eat my cook's brisket. I know that. They get t-shirts, they get their annual sobriety medallion, and they just get to have fellowship with each other. We established a Client of the Quarter award where someone who has done an outstanding job with no write-ups, no reprimands, they get that title and they're given a certificate at the alumni reunion. We do the Four Winds Talking Circle once a year, and we have a Spirit Winds AA group that we will be having when we move. The last thing is New Pathways co-sponsors the Comanche Nation Fair's Spirit Walk on Sunday mornings. It actually is a sobriety walk, and the people that walk are walking to show their support and concern for loved ones who have died with this disease or battling it on a daily basis. Services, I just put our major ones. I'm sure there's a whole lot more. Immediate shelter, 2 balanced meals daily, morning meditation, exercise equipment, limited van transportation, drug testing and breathalyzer, job search, individual counseling, group therapy, in-house AA meetings, substance abuse education, advocacy, and referrals of all types. And that's my my program. If I have any other questions.
Got one question out there by Mr. Eddie Himanoki.
Eddie.
If we can get him a microphone, somebody.
My name's Eddie Himanoki, and Miss Yellowfish, I like to say that I'm a product out of New Pathways and everything. Back when it first opened up in 90, me and some of the other Comanche members went through there, and ever since that time and everything, our lives have changed. And if I could give you $1 million right now for what that program did for me and my family, there's no way of saying that and everything, and money-wise or any way and everything, except for that program worked. It worked for me, it worked for my family, and my family is straight and sober and out of all the drugs and alcohol there is. The drug and alcohols is just not only on that one individual, it's that whole family. It's not just that one individual that is sick. That family was into that way back. It just goes generation after generation after generation until someone finally comes along and breaks it. And when they break that path and everything, then it's a new life for the whole family. I see prevention, I see your program, I see integrations, I see all these programs and everything, they're all right there. All they have to do is just put their minds together and it all can work and go all the way back. Just like our chairman was saying a while ago, his family's infected with drugs and alcohol and all that. It's there. We're all affected by it. We've got to find a way to go to the root, pick it up, just like a weed, and throw it away. I want to thank the tribe for hiring me to take care of the cemeteries, because I went through the program and I knew how hard it was to find a job, because nobody ever wanted you out there if you were in treatment or if they knew where you were coming from and everything. They didn't want to hire you. But when I went through the program for cemetery improvements, which they gave me a grant for 2008 and 9 and part of 10 and everything, all my employees came from New Pathways. Exactly, because I shared with them what I knew, what they were going through and everything, and some of them went on to better jobs, better places, and started their lives over again just by persons sharing their lives with them. And I want to thank you. If I can give you that type of money, I would. And I would say that that program needs to be improved with more finance and everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Karan, how much more you will need now?
I have a question or a comment.
Okay, go right ahead.
I wanted to say thank you to Karan and the I Am Indian program, because years ago, my dad went to a small drop-in center in Anadarko, and it planted a seed. And that seed of sobriety and wellness and recovery, positive living, positive everything in your life, healing, that has gone on for 3 generations in my family. And so my dad is a product of sobriety, and he introduced us to a better way of life. And so I think that's a great work. I know there's a lot of people in our tribe that are needing that help. So my thank goes out to you, because now they're even starting with our children. And in the sobriety terminology, that's called breaking the cycle. And so I'm a product of sobriety and wellness and healing that my dad received in programs like theirs. So I want to say God bless you and keep up the good work. And if you need someone to give your clients a pep talk, I'll be glad to tell them my story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karan.
Thank you, Karan.
Beverly.
Things that you need
Yes, we receive clothes. We receive donations all the time. There to the Indian school. I will be there. No, at the Indian school, the girls' dorm. But not for a while. They still have to build it. One thing I can add is that me and all my team, we're all in recovery. The contractors that I have hired, they came through the program. I mean, there was no training. They already knew the program. They're very loyal. I Yes, yes. One thing I can say, because I'm always clipping newspaper clippings for grants. They said this 2016 that Lawton is the drunkest city in Oklahoma. And I can remember when, before Central Mall, there were 23 bars. A lot of these young people don't remember that. So I do. And I'm glad that it's a mall. Thank you all. Yes, they're rehabbing. They're taking the FAC building, the part that's already built will go to prevention, and they're building on the back part for us. So we will be separated.